Alright, what is going on today, guys? I figured in today's video we would talk about some common problems that you might experience in owning a Crown Vic. Some of these you might not have to deal with, but I'm gonna say all the ones that I mentioned are pretty much you're about 90% to even 100%. There's some that no matter what you do, it's gonna happen to you regardless. So some of them are kind of expensive, I will say. Other ones are just really stupid little things that, a monkey could probably do himself. So, I guess let's start with the hood. Let's kind of get the expensive ones out of the way. And then we'll kind of work our way in the more stupid little minor things. Because any major problem that these cars are going to have, under the hood at least, most of them actually are kind of expensive. So pop open the hood here. I gotta clean this thing. It's getting really dirty. Definitely time to get cleaned. I'll have to power wash it or something. But I'd say the number one issue that every single Crown Vic is gonna have, I don't care what you do, how great a care you take care of your car, where you live, I don't care what model year it is, it's gonna happen to you regardless. I don't care who you are. And that is your intake manifold. Your intake manifold, it's gonna crack. They all crack, whether they go with the amount of miles you have on your car or just the age of your car. Every single 4.6 intake manifold is going to crack, and they all do it, at least most of them do it right here, right by the thermostat housing here. Get the camera in here, right along the plastic here. They usually crack right along in here. So that's usually where the intake manifold cracks. So in case you keep losing coolant, your car's overheating, you're kind of curious to know what it is, check right here. For me, it would do it when I first started it up. I'd see it dripping down. That's actually how I caught it one day. For the longest time, I could not figure out what was going on with my coolant. I noticed the levels were getting low. I never overheated it, but the levels would keep going down. I couldn't figure out why. And eventually I ended up finding a leak. It ended up making a huge puddle down in the engine down there. It ended up being a huge puddle. But that's probably going to be one of the most expensive things here to replace. Now, I'm sure some people are capable of doing it. I'm not. It's way too much of a job for me. I ended up having someone do it. I actually bring it to a shop. I had someone that kind of does some street work, I guess you could say. I had him do it. The intake manifold itself cost me $500. I got it directly from Ford. I didn't want an aftermarket one because sometimes they don't bolt up right, and you got to do some modification. So I ended up just getting a regular Ford factory one, a Motorcraft intake manifold, which they said that they improved it. It's not going to crack, so I'm hoping it doesn't crack. Even if it does, I mean, it should last another 100,000 miles anyway. So I ended up paying someone to do it. That job right there, that was like $800 job, 500 intake manifold, and then I paid him $300. So it was kind of expensive. I mean, that's pretty expensive. I mean, the part was mainly the most expensive thing, but like I said, I did end up getting the Motorcraft one, which is why it was more money. If you got an aftermarket, they're like $200 or something, so you could probably save some money there. But I'm gonna say 100% you are gonna have that issue no matter what you do. I don't think I've ever heard of someone with a Crown Vic that has never had the intake manifold crack and leak. So if you're one of them, then congratulations, but I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time for that thing goes. Another common problem with these is they like to spit spark plugs. They just give you too much acceleration and boom, they just shoot right out. They usually slam right into the hood here. I've heard stories of them actually going through the hood. People have actually had holes right in their hood. But I'd say that issue is kind of avoidable. I think it's only for certain years. I think it's like I don't know, 01, the 05s or something. I don't remember the years. I'll try to remember some of the years on these, but I forget some of the years. I really don't remember. But I definitely know it's like the 03 era Crown Vics, 02s. They're known for spit and spark, but I think the earlier ones too, even like the 98s, 99s. I think they ended up improving it in like 06 or 07. But yeah, they like to spit spark plugs. I haven't had that issue. Honestly, I think if you just torque your spark plugs what they're supposed to be torqued down to, you'll be all right. I mean, hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but so far I've been all right with the spark plugs. We ended up changing them. I put new spark plugs in. I haven't had an issue since, so I mean, I never had an issue with them spitting out, but I had an issue where it would kind of misfire a little bit. The spark plugs were bad, so I ended up replacing them. But another thing to look out for, just, you know, you might spit some spark plugs. I know it's really common on the Ford Lightnings. With the 5.4, those spit spark plugs like it's no one's business. Those are like, I think the 03s, I think it is. So these are definitely a little bit better when it comes to that, but it still is prone to doing it. Another common thing, the oil cooler lines down below here. Right down there. Probably can't see it, but that oil cooler line right over there. Straight down. Those lines are prone to leaking, especially in areas where you live on the salt belt, which is where I live. It's not that big a deal, not that expensive to replace. The oil cooler lines themselves like 140 bucks from the dealership. I ended up getting, I think they're Dorman ones that I have on there now. Don't get aftermarket hoses, they don't seem to hold up. Definitely get like OEM Ford ones, the Motorcraft. But that's another common issue. A lot of times they always leak. Some people actually rip out the oil cooler itself. I don't want to, I like having the oil cooler on there. But yeah, the lines usually go, they start getting dry rotted and stuff. So another little common issue, nothing too major. Another thing that goes under the hood is the steering shaft. Right down here, as you can see, mine is corroded. I replaced the lower steering shaft, I ended up getting that done, but the upper one on mine is not in really that great a shape. I keep it sprayed with the lithium grease, or the lithium grease, that way it you know, prevents from getting binded up. So if you're turning and your wheel feels like real bindy, like if it turns, then it's tight, and then it turns, then it's real tight, look into your steering shaft. That might end up being an issue. Once again, that's not too expensive to replace. I ended up bringing it to Ford to have them look at it, and they told me it's my steering shaft, and they replaced it and did everything. The lower steering shaft, I think it was like 150 bucks or something. So the lower one was actually pretty cheap to do. It was like 200 bucks. I don't remember how much it was. The upper steering shaft is, for whatever reason, is more money. I don't know why. I think when I went to Ford for a price, it was like $250 just for the part. And I think it's more of a complicated job than the front ones, because I don't know if you'll be able to see. You're not gonna be able to see, but oh, maybe you can, but it looks like, I'm almost certain that this down here, this spot, is part of that steering shaft. So I don't know how you get that off. You have to hammer it off, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely more of a complicated job than just doing a lower steering shaft. So that's another common things that happens on these. You know, definitely some steering issues with that steering shaft. I've also heard the steering racks go bad. I haven't had that issue. I don't really think that's that common of a problem, so I'm not going to bring that up, but I have heard people have had problems with their steering racks, but who knows, maybe, you know, it got slammed into or something. You know, that's probably what it is, to be quite honest with you. See if I missed anything. I made a little list here of things. Oh, I did miss something. I got one more thing. The exhaust manifold. There's other common problems on these. There's a bolt. I saw a video one time on it, or I think it was a video, maybe it was just on the internet, but there's a bolt somewhere on one of these exhaust manifolds, or bolts in, I don't know, it's somewhere on this side. One of them, it always cracks right near the bolt. I think it's like cylinder 3 or whatever it is, I don't remember its cylinder, but it literally cracks right at the bolt. It's a little hairline crack, but you can hear it. I've always had that issue. I just leave it the way it is. I always pass inspection. The noise isn't that loud, it doesn't bother me that much. So I've never gone to replace it, but I don't know how much they are. I would imagine they're kind of a little bit more expensive, since it's, you know, at a more of a performance exhaust. So I'm assuming that exhaust manifold would be kind of expensive to replace. I never really looked into it. Like I said, I always pass inspection. The noise doesn't really bother me, so I've always left it how it is. But that is another common thing that will go on these, is that the exhaust manifold. So definitely one thing to keep in mind there. That is it for the hood portion. I actually just thought of this one now. I'll do it real quick. But if you have a white paint job, those are known to peel That's why people call it the Peelformance White. So that's the only paint that I really know that peels. So if you do have a white Crown Vic, just keep in mind your paint might eventually start peeling, and they're kind of garbage to white paint jobs. This one's been repainted, as you guys know from my why I hate Mako videos, pretty much. Even though, well, at first I didn't hate Mako, but after everything was said and done, I ended up hating Mako. But yeah, it's, you know, the whites on these, they're just not good quality white paint jobs. So if you have a white one, might be something you might have to do in the future. Paint jobs can vary. You can get a $1,400 job like I did, or $1,300, or you can get a $5,000 paint job. So the price on that are really going to vary. I will say that I don't think all Makos are as bad as the one that I went to. Just happens to the one that I went to, they're just complete scumbags. So another thing to keep in mind. Now let's work our way into the interior, and it is super hot still out. That's why I didn't do a video yesterday, because it is stupid hot out. Today is not as bad, but I'm still sweating. What's some things in the interior here? Let me look at my little board. Oh, I forgot one thing on the outside. The rims. This is the 2004 Crown Vic, and as you guys will probably tell, I had the 17-inch Steelies on here. If you had the 16-inch Steelies that came on the, I believe it was the 03 to 05 Crown Vic. It was only for like 3 years or 2 years, 04, 05, or 03 to 05 Crown Vics. They look like little like slashes. They're like little, I don't know, slashes that go around the tire instead of circles like this. Those are prone to like split. Like they're literally known to start like splitting apart. They get rusted. I don't know exactly where they split, but like the part of the rim literally starts to split apart, and the rim just disintegrates. It was like a defect on the 16-inch rims. That's why I eventually ended up upgrading to the 17-inch rims, because they're having problems with the 16-inch. So that's why they upgraded to the 17. Not because they wanted to make the rims bigger. They did it because they were having problems with the 16-inch rim. At least that style design, which was from like 03 to 05. So if you had those style rims, if you're replacing tires, quite honestly, just upgrade to the 17-inch rim. I wouldn't even bother putting tires on the 16-inch rim. Just, when you're doing tires, just upgrade to the 17-inch rim. Definitely a much better look, and you don't have to worry about the rims splitting on you. All right. Let's see. Now that we're in here, I guess I'll start with the number one thing that breaks in these cars, and every single one has it. There's like another thing that every car is gonna have it. Is this right here. These all break. Mine's like that. I go to junkyards. I don't go all the time, but every single time I go to the junkyard, I always try to find one of these that isn't broken, and they're always broken. Now you can buy them brand new. I saw them one time on eBay for like 150 bucks, and I just like, I don't know. I just refuse to pay $150 for this little stupid plastic piece. So I still haven't bought one. To this day, it's still screwed up. Now I see people they always put like screws here. They always like rig it and do something. I don't want screws drilled in and something all rigged up, so I just deal with it. Mine's not that bad, but I've seen some where they're like sitting way out like that, and they're all screwed up. Mine isn't as bad, so that's another thing. Those always go. Not a big deal, but it is something to keep in mind that will be broken. These break too, the ashtray covers. Mine was broken when I had mine. I ended up getting this one from the junkyard, but a lot of times these are broken. I guess when people pull it out, see how it gets stuck on there? I think if people just end up yanking it off, you're supposed to kind of pull straight out. It's the design itself. Like as I pull on it, it gets stuck. People force it and then it breaks. So that's something to keep in mind too. That might break. Oh, it's getting stuck. What else we got here? Man, I am just dripping sweat right now. The biggest thing on the interior, I'd say that's gonna fail, and it happens only on certain years. I think it's once again from like 03 to 05 Crown Vics, maybe the 02s as well. I definitely know it's my year for a fact. I know for a fact it's 04 and 05. I think it's also 03 and 02. But the lighting control module They go bad in these. Now, it's been recalled, so if you have one, not a big deal. You'll get it recalled. But the lighting control module is I don't remember, guys. It's under here somewhere. It's a black box. Where the hell is the lighting? Oh, maybe this is the lighting control module, I think. This black box right here. So these lighting control modules go bad, and what that is it affects your headlights. You'll literally be driving down the road, boom, your headlights just click right off. Your high beams will work, but your headlights won't work. That actually happened right after I bought the car. The headlights stopped working, so that was like one of the first things I ever fixed. At the time, they weren't doing a recall. It was, you know, you had to like buy the part from Ford, and the problem was they never fixed the issue. It was the same lighting control module, so if you bought a new one, you'd end up having the same issue. So I ended up finding a guy on eBay that rebuilds them. I think I paid like 40 bucks. I took it out, I sent it to him, he rebuilt it, sent it back to me. So I ended up having my lighting control module rebuilt. I don't think it was 40 bucks, it might have been more, I don't remember. I did things like that, I did so long ago, I just don't remember. But that at one point was replaced. That's good now though. Wasn't that expensive, but is another issue, especially one that's kind of dangerous too, especially if you're driving at night. The blend door actuator, I don't know if it's as common in these cars as it is the F-150s from this, you know, generation, like the 99, the, you know, 02s. I know those are notorious for having blend door actuator problems. I don't know if these are as bad, but I have heard that they do go bad in these. Like these controls will go bad, the blend door actuator goes bad. That is expensive to fix. You literally have to take the whole dash out. So I hope, you know, no one has that issue. I fortunately have not had that issue yet, but I have heard it is a common problem, so kind of keep that in mind. If you do go to buy one, definitely test all that stuff out. On the newer style Crown Vics with like the digital odometer and the tachometer and stuff, the 06 and up, they're known for the backlightings to go out, like the mile display will go out. Sometimes even like the lights won't work. That's another common problem. Fortunately, it's not on the older style like I have, that's on the newer ones. Once again, it's not that big a deal to fix, but it's something to keep in mind. You know, it might happen to you. I'm sweating here, guys. I'm ready to pass out. I'm literally like dripping. I've only been out here for as long as this video and I'm dripping. I can't believe how hot it is. It's been like 90 to 95 the past 3 days. And today I think it's like 90, but I'm just dying. One last thing too is the fuel pumps. I've actually just remembered that now. Fuel pumps are pretty common in these. I've heard a lot of people having fuel pump issues. So, not that expensive to repair. I had someone do it for like 150 bucks. So I got it done pretty cheap, but fuel pumps are known to go. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. Those are really all the common problems that I can think of at the top of my head. I wrote them down, but that's pretty much all the common problems that I can think of. I only got 10 seconds left on my SD card here, so I guess I'll end the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Happy 4th of July. Oh, I'm still recording. Well, happy 4th of July, guys. You know, make sure you guys are barbecuing and having fun. Enjoy the